recording, making point recording, and the right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, councillors, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. And welcome to the Bray Parish Council meeting. The first item on the agenda, 0502025, is Chairman's request that all mobile phones are switched off for the duration of the meeting or placed on silent. And purely this is to avoid any interruptions where everybody's speaking. And just the normal airline way for fire exits. It's either out the door that way or left to right. And we congregate in the far right hand corner of the car park until such time. We're not expecting any fire evacuations, but just in case. 0512025, recording and filming of the meeting. The council permits the filming and recording and photography of its public meetings. Standing order 3K. By attending the meeting, you are consenting to being filmed and recorded unless you notify the clerk in advance that you do not wish to do. All present to be asked if they have any intention of recording, filming, all a part of the meeting. So can I ask the members of the public, do you wish to record any of the meeting? We will have it recorded on YouTube. Thank you very much. So on to 0522025, that's to receive apologies for absence. And I believe we do have a couple of apologies for tonight's meeting.
From Councillor Cross for compassionate leave and from Councillor Elvin holiday.
Thank you very much.
Meeting to accept those.
Do councillors accept those apologies?
Agreed.
Thank you. Then they will be duly noted. Item 0532025, declarations of interest and dispensations. All members are to be reminded that they must disclose any disclosable pecuniary interest, registrable interest, and any non-registrable interest they have in items of business on the meeting's agenda, either at this point or during the agenda item. They are reminded that they will need to repeat their declaration at the appropriate point in the meeting. Leave the room if the interest is a prejudicial one. Unforeseen interest must be declared similarly at the appropriate time. If not already done so, they are also obligated to notify the monitoring officer of the interest within 28 minutes of the meeting. And also, this particular position is something that I know to begin to emphasise is that these councillors review and update their declarations of interest. Right, now moving on to item 0542025. This is minutes from the previous meeting, and many of you will be aware that they are not actually in your pack tonight. It's from the meeting of Monday, the 23rd of June. So we will defer that item to the next full council where they can be agreed. Is that acceptable to all councillors? Thank you. So moving on to the next one is 0552025 public forum. The chairman allows a maximum of 15 minutes or 3 minutes per speaker for the public to address the council, and priority will be given to those members of the public wishing to share information relating to items on the agenda. Once the public session is closed, members of the public are not permitted to speak. So may I ask members of the public here this evening whether they wish to speak at this moment in time? No? Okay, thank you very much. So let's move on to the next item on the agenda, 05622025. This is the co-option to consider and agree to court parish councillors to the following ward. Holyport has one seat available. Oakley Green and Firefield also has one seat available. And on your agenda papers this evening, you have a list of 4 candidates. I believe that there is an update, and I was wondering if my clerk can just provide us with that update. Your point. No, Deputy Clerk.
So, Anna Strachan has stood down because 2 young children, and so she did focus on the kids. Jeffrey Hill indicated that he may not be able to make it tonight, and obviously he's not in the room. And I've not heard from Joseph Weston, but obviously he's not in the room. So the only candidate we do have is Mr. Gertz.
So, Mr. Gertz, would you like to take this opportunity to give us a short presentation about yourself? Councillor Walters.
Are we gonna make any appointments tonight, or are we gonna give
Yes.
people? Well, we won't see any other people at all.
Well,
They didn't come.
They just don't want to turn, don't
yes, Councillor.
This is just a clarification. There's one place available in Liverpool, something like, and one in Oakley and Firefield.
Correct.
But only one of the people that wish to be co-opted has applied, has said that they would stand in Firefield. Does that mean that they would automatically co-opted to that, or they stand?
That would be the situation that they would be automatically co-opted, but I feel that, you know, as most members around this table probably don't know about Mr. Gertz, it's probably an ideal opportunity for him to present his case and for you to listen to
Oh,
him.
no, I agree totally. I just wondered whether it was competition, whether whether only one people seeking to be co-opted could be co-opted for that ward, or whether they.
We only have one candidate as indicated for
Yeah,
that particular
okay.
ward.
Okay, right.
So
What ward is this cat?
it's the Oakley Green and Firefield board. So, Mr. Gertz, if you'd like to address the meeting.
Sure. I'll just keep it brief. I'm going. Yes, so yes, thank you, welcome everybody. My name's Gertz. I live locally in Bray Road, which is not too far from it. I'm standing for co-option because I want to get something back to the parish in the local area. The last 5 years, over 5 years, I've been a borough councillor. I sit with Councillor Walters. I represent the ward of St Mary's. I work across planning, licensing, scrutiny, community engagement. And outside the council, I'm also a magistrate. I manage a small portfolio of properties in my private life, and I'm involved in development. My background's varied, with health tech and real estate. But you know what underpins it all, I've got a drive to listen, lead, you know, get involved in local community activities. And I'll bring that same mindset here if I take part. Obviously, I'm co-opted, you know, make sure proactive and sort of people first sort of attitude. Yeah, you know, it's a fantastic parish, beautiful area. There's a lot of history here, a lot of heritage. I want to help preserve that, sort of, you know, important, help future-proof it, you know, to make the right decisions, and offer sort of fresh perspective and experience where needed. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask? The councillor Parkinson.
Very good. Just one question. Do you feel confident that you're going to be able to combine all that you do in your business life and also with your role as a borough councillor with being able to do with the parish council as well? Because I just think that is an enormously breadth portfolio you've got.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much work and how involved I get. Obviously, I'd have to work everything out, you know, how many days I can spare and stuff like that. But, you know, predominantly, I'm thinking that that's a part-time role.
Yeah.
Not, doing 100 hours a week. You know, I sort of, what I normally do in my life is, I sort of split my days, split my time. So I do spend a certain amount of time on my private business, and a few days in the council, and then as and when with magistrate duty, we do like sort of 26 sort of half days a year. So I've moved a little as much, so I can fall back and but
Out of interest, where do you sit? Where do you sit?
West London,
What is it? Family?
like, yeah.
So we can do a family. We can do a funny handshake afterwards because I'm magistrate as well. It sounds about it. Yeah. Family.
All right, family stuff. Family's really tough. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, not a question, but
Councillor Taylor.
just a few words, if I may. I met with you back in March when in High Street, I was a bit concerned about the cleanliness and the state of it really. It looked very appealing, and we had a meeting and had a walk around the town, and it was a very useful meeting, and we even ended up going into the town hall to sit in on a meeting that was going on there. And so talked about various aspects of the town and what could be done and couldn't be done at the time. To the side of McDonald's, there was a huge problem with great big bins, and that got sorted out. So in brief, I think he goes to somebody we can work with, and I think he would he would be very helpful in working with Bray Parish Council. So I would like to say yes, favour of him as far as that goes, but just my point of view, Councillor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Lee.
Don't know why I'm just going to ask this, but I should ask this. Bray Parish Council is very passionate about protecting the green belts, conservation areas. Do you support that? Because obviously, if you're going to represent Oak Green and Highfield, a lot of that area is green belts, and residents really need support regarding the government's views on green belts. Just are you comfortable doing that?
Yeah.
To President?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, the green belt is protected. You know, in development, any development in green belt is inappropriate, and sort of the national planning policy framework and the sort of the local plan, everything sort of states that. So you have got sufficient protection. You know, where we have got an issue is obviously that there is a local plan, somebody's like to remove from the green belt. So it's a fight, you know, every single application. I mean, we've had applications that were green belt 5 years ago and they're not now, and they're sort of housing has been put up. But you know, any green belt sites that come forward for development, obviously, I listen to the residents, and obviously maybe you know, both the local parish level or level. You know, after those there to protect them, you know, as much as we work on the borough committee, we work together. So, yeah.
No, thank you. I wanted to ask that because I'm not sure if you're aware, I'm the planning chair. One of the things that we're very keen on is protecting the green belts.
Yeah.
And obviously the ward you would be representing is a lot of green belts.
Very green, yeah.
So I'm sure residents would be very pleased to hear that you would support them on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, thank you.
So if I can now call upon Councillor Glover, please.
Yeah, just obviously I am Oak Green for Deborah, as my colleague Nick. it- the green belt, as Councillor Neil's just said, is very passionate with us, and unfortunately, it doesn't stop because it's not in the plan or the fact that it's cast as green belt. We have a multitude of applications that just constantly come in like Smarties, and the same thing will come around until they get it, and it's all green belt. But how will this reflect with being a borough councillor? Because you will have one issue here and we have one issue here. And there is a dividing between the two.
Yeah, I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, I've sort of obviously have to have a bit of separation. I mean, when I'm on the parish, obviously I've got the parish hat on and sort of make the views forward at parish level.
But if you've got to sit on a planning team and defend it,
Yeah, I mean, the issue is when you're on the RBWM planning committee, so you're not sitting as a ward councillor, so you're sitting as a borough councillor. Whether I'm sitting as someone else, then they'll look holistically at all of the policies, and a lot of these get obviously the papers get brought forward by officers, and in our job as councillors is actually to scrutinise and have a look at where we can sort of defend if we we'll put all these arguments. I mean, it's a very difficult time at the moment because you have got this grey belt stuff that's coming forward, and the government's got expressed for 1.5 million homes, but yeah, where it's not sustainable, where it's inappropriate, it's not the answer. It's some of your views and next and work together and increase my knowledge base as well, around everyone to see, what other views locally. Because obviously you're in touch with the directions.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I do have one other, Councillor Waters.
Thank you, Chairman. Sorry, my throat. I'm on the planning commission as and I decided some time ago it was impossible due to the Bray planning committee at the same time as being on the phone. Because and myself all the nasty time. And I'm surprised you do know that.
Yeah.
With the developers 2 or 3 years ago, who said we wanted them to do the planning consent. Jeff and I, the 2 of the people wanted to object to it. And then the developers then made a formal complaint to the council about myself and Jeff. And particularly about me, because they said, and they assumed you're the Bray Parish Council, and therefore you've made a predetermination. You've either said yes or no. And it's impossible to say yes on one commission and no on another one, or vice versa. Now, they made a mistake because they assumed I was on the Bray Planning Commission, which, as I said, I wasn't. And that got away. I was advised and I was asked many times, and I regret it, I can't do the planning. I really want to. But my only advice ever saw it, I can also, see the common sense, you can't say yes to him and not on the other one, as I say, vice versa. So I find that difficult. I'm going to have it down by not never doing any planning aspects. Just making facts.
Okay, there's an awful lot of hands that keep going. So, Councillor Walsall.
No, I'm just, I want to make 2 points. Technically, it is possible to sit on both. Councillor Cross sat on both for a long time, and if not one, unfortunately, she would probably still be on our planning committee as well. And the other one is if you want something done, give it to a busy person. And I do feel that, especially with now Anna being no longer interested in Bray Parish, we keep losing good people, and we cannot afford to keep losing people who have experience and who are good, potentially very good assets. So Those are my thoughts.
The next speaker was councillor Baloo.
Yes, I'm obviously the other Deadworth Byfield Green councillor. If you can't do planning meetings, that's where the bulk of the workload is. And that would be no good to us. We need someone to be able to commit to do the planning meetings and participate in the planning activity. So I'd like you, I obviously accept totally what your colleague, Lena has said. And the evidence is our other borough councillors, Dan Cross, who stepped out of the planning committee. It seems to me that, it'd be very difficult for you to do the planning. If you're prepared to commit to do the planning, then that's great, and I will certainly vote for you. But if you have any questions about doing that, then I think we should flag those now.
Okay, I'm going to bring in councillor Nee, and then that's going to be it for this moment. So councillor Nee.
So I would just like to say, councillor Cross stood down from plan committee for a totally different reason than not being able to do it. I won't bring that up here, obviously. I personally do not see why you can't do both. Obviously, if you've got an application you think might go through the panel, then you might be worth swapping with somebody. I'm happy to swap with you if it needs be. But the reality is, unless it's going to panel, then it's not a problem. And if you could commit to doing that, then that would be obviously your views. And obviously your knowledge would also be very beneficial to the group. And I'm sure we could work it between us on covering any that you think might go to panel. Obviously, you'd have to take a judgment when you see something, but on the whole, I don't think many of us would go to panel, except for very large contentious ones. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, if I can come back to you, Chair. We between that's got three councillors, ward councillors, but I think we can work it and work a system that it's what we have to be careful of. We have to make defendable planning decisions. So what we don't want to do is have a conflict of interest. But said the majority of applications are determined by officers. So in those cases, we can definitely get stuck in, we can get involved, we can make representation for the border officers for consideration. Where in a small number of applications that will come to committee, look, we can work it and see what's best. Whether you want to leave me out of it and sit on the borough council. So I've got an independent view there, or we make representation at local level, or we substitute. But I'm flexible, and what we'll do is we'll make sure this sort of resident program will. It's one of the things what we don't want to do something that ends up going to the field, and then we lose on the field.
Just one point that I have, it's in your CV that you presented to Bray Parish Council. You say that under which ward are you applying to become a councillor for? And you put Polyfort or Oakley Green in Parliament. Is there a preference?
No, I mean, where information needed, I mean, I know people well, but I'd be happy to over Byfield. I know she's brilliant.
So we have a candidate for us this evening, and Mr. Gertz, who is also a borough councillor at the moment elsewhere, who wishes to be put forward for the Oakley Green and Byfield seat, of which we have one vacancy. And can I please ask councillors, do we have a formal proposer and seconder? So the proposer, councillor Nee, and so seconder, councillor Baloo. All those councillors in favour of Mr Singh applying for the Oakley Green and Fifield seats, please indicate. That's unanimous. So, Councillor Singh, if you would like to make this something. Oh, you have to comment. So, you substitute. And then I'll sign. No, I think I know.
Thank you.
A full welcome to him.
Yes, I was just about to do that. If you just bear with me for very one.
Would it help if I
Is that gin and tonic?
Just folks.
Yes,
Clerk.
sorry, the clerk was just mentioning, so if you could just repeat that.
In absence of a proper officer, the declaration of acceptance of office has been made in front of the chairman, because the law permits that as an alternative.
So now I can say, welcome to Bray Parish Council, and we wish you many years of success with Bray Parish Council, and I'm sure I'll be welcome. Now, we have still one seat available for the Hollyport Board, and as other candidates have withdrawn their application, and one candidate is a deputy clerk.
Yeah, I would say that one has Anna has stood down.
Right.
Jeff couldn't make it tonight. And the other chap, Joseph, was a no-show. Doesn't mean he wouldn't show up to the next meeting. We have had somebody else show an interest. So at the next meeting, they're all invited to come and represent themselves if they choose to.
Yeah, so if we can suggest that it's referred to the next meeting. So that it's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So we've done the declaration of office, 05722025. We now move on to 05822025. And quite a list of me, and I apologise. For those that don't know, Katie Gordon, who sat with us this evening, is our assistant clerk within the office. I know some of you may have already met her, but Katie has been doing a splendid job in the office, and I know that she's well respected in what she does. And so welcome, Katie. And also welcome to Sally Halfacre as well. So thank you very much for coming along with you. So it's always nice to introduce. Okay. So 05822025 chairman's report. I don't have much to report this month, to be honest. It's been a relatively quiet period, although we've been dealing with finances and that side with our local RFO. So making sure that all the payments that need to be paid are paid in accordance with standing orders. So moving on to and welcome to Louise. Welcome back to Louise. So thank you very much for attending this evening and marking our meeting for us. Much appreciated. Which now brings me on to 059025, which is the clerk's report. So I don't know if Louise wishes to,
I don't have anything to report.
no?
Quite literally, I have nothing.
So the next item is 0602025. This is the Policy and Procedures Committee. Now, it says to receive an update from the chair on the formation of the, although there's not been officially a meeting, inaugural meeting held to appoint a chair. Just moving to say that the purpose of this meeting is to actually go through the policies that we have as a council, to make any adjustments where necessary on those policies, and to update them where necessary if new information has come to light, not only from the Berkshire Association of Local Councils, but also the National Association of Local Councils. The purpose of this committee will be to meet about 4 times a year, because I think that is a reasonable period of time for this committee to meet, where it will discuss maybe 2 or 3 policies at a time. In other words, I don't want to pop down policies, because I'm sure that there are certain policies that are going to take a little bit longer to review than others. Now, the idea at the moment is to look at a date in September for the next meeting. And I don't know if the committee would like to just, councillors would like to agree whether I can just liaise with our deputy clerk to arrange that meeting, or is there specific dates that people have in mind? Councillor Nim.
Just make a suggestion, could perhaps some dates be sent out?
Yes.
Obviously, I mean, there's quite a few of us that do work
Yes.
and have other commitments. So it'd be good that, and also the time of day as well, some options. So if it's lunchtime one time, perhaps in the early evening the next time, so it's covers.
Okay. Councillor Glover.
Sorry, there was also, at our last HR meeting, we asked the local clerk to add a proposal to do a new IT working group with the newsletter. Because obviously IT has managed to get stuck onto finance purely because it was a cost element for the last things that have happened in the last couple of years. But we should have a IT group or communication, something. We need to revamp the newsletter and add our IT website, the whole bit needs to go in there, and a team need to be working on it. So it actually, everyone is in agreement with what's going on, and everyone's aware of where we are and what it's doing and how to notify people. She hasn't put it on there, but could you make a proposal? We could add it to the next agenda, because I think it's quite important. It should start being addressed.
I assume that councillors are in agreement for that to go on to the next agenda.
Yes, and I think it should be a committee as well, a proper committee that.
Yes, it should be, yes.
Members of the public can also attend, and rather than just a working group.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Corser.
I wonder, because we already have a newsletter working group, and that group should produce a newsletter, but it would be logical if that group took over social media, whatever other online groups we run, so every
need to rename.
communication. So maybe it could be done by rewriting the terms of reference, not by creating another group and,
Putting it all together.
yes.
The art group, that's what it is.
Councillor Buxton.
I endorse Councillor Corsak's suggestion. My only observation would be that if we do increase the terms of reference of that particular newsletter group, we will need to go out again and just to the general council to ask if anyone else would like to be a member of it, because we are widening it from just being a newsletter to suddenly looking at IT, social media and all that involves. And I have to say, I'm not in any way, shape or form spring chicken, but you know, he would be, and I'm looking at you, Gertz. That we need people who are kind of in that world as well. I know the deputy clerk has a good grasp of that, but I think we do need to probably go out to the rest of the council and ask getting other people.
Deputy Clerk wish to make.
I'm not going to say anything now.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, does that clerk?
No.
Councillor,
Has the constitution, the members who constitute, or the councillors who are going to constitute this committee been determined? Because nothing happened at the last meeting.
no,
That's specified in the way we were asked of my understanding.
Deputy.
Yeah, can I make a suggestion? You discuss this at your first policy meeting. Because then the clerk can offer the reality of that. It's not as simple as just doing these things. The clerk has to have final say on anything that's put out. Because it's,
So,
no,
yeah, I mean, I've just been, sorry, I was distracted by looking through some of your previous minutes, just. In order to agree a committee, your standing orders say what it is you have to agree. So your standing orders say you're going to have to agree the membership, frequency of meetings. I think I've heard it said as 4 times a year. Terms of reference for that committee and any delegations to that committee. So I think you need quite a detailed report. One of the ways through that would be potentially to informally assemble the people who are interested in being members of that committee as an informal working group to bring together some terms of reference for the committee and bring it back. But it can't meet as a committee until full council has taken those steps as per standing orders.
Okay, that's fine. So we can get it on the next agenda.
Yeah,
Then obviously people.
but that would be true for policy and procedures, and I can't. It's that on the.
Well,
I can't see that in.
it's on today's agenda as an item, but you know, obviously, as members have already indicated, they would like a selection of dates available, and then they will decide as to whether they wish to be involved in that particular committee. As the cause that.
We now talking about the policy committee.
Yes.
Of the communication.
That's not my observation applies to both. But I'm more concerned by the fact that policy and procedures is on your agenda as though it's a done deal, but I can't find anything in your minutes to indicate that it is a done deal. So and on my
It was, we actually discussed it and said it'd be a good idea that a group was put together to review everything.
But we haven't done any terms of reference or nothing. So as the clerk's saying, it's not really, we can't go ahead with it until we've done that for either of the groups. Is that my understanding?
yes, and I was just going to try, okay, the bit in your standing order, standing order 4. The council may appoint one committees or other committees as may be necessary and shall determine their terms of reference, shall determine the number and times of the ordinary meetings of a standing committee up to the date of the next annual meeting of the council, shall permit a committee other than a standing committee, so other than in respect of the ordinary meetings of the committee to determine the number and time of its meetings. And shall appoint and determine the terms of office of members of such a committee. And shall, in your case, shall permit a committee to appoint its own chairman. There is an alternative in the model. Standing orders that the council appoints the chairman, but I think you've gone down the road where committee chairman are appointed by the committee. And then shall determine the place, notice requirements and quorum for a meeting of a committee and subcommittee, which shall be no less than 3. Shall determine if the public may participate at a meeting of a committee. Now, most of those will be whatever you already do for the other committees. But the key thing is terms of reference and membership.
Councillor Mead.
Can I make a suggestion then? Shall I suggest we perhaps, those people interested, you know, after the meeting tonight or get together and confirm a date for us. Council will have the terms of reference and just start there. Yeah, there's no reason why we couldn't do that at the same time, because it's not set in stone. I think it's a terms of reference. And the policy procedures is to review procedures, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite simple, so you could do that as a simplistic and agree which councillors. The social media one, we like to, I think, is also probably a high level, quite easy to put together.
Councillor Corset?
We do.
Yeah, don't know why it just did.
So does that sound acceptable?
I just think it needs to be
Yeah, I agree.
brought forward and we need to get the group together because the social media is a huge thing for us. We need to have that set and there need to be team members that everyone is aware of what's going on and what is going. So it shouldn't be stuck where it is at the moment and it's not really being addressed at all.
So think those, if councillors after the meeting, I'd like to find, you send me an email, then you're interested and we'll sort of look at some dates and we can put our heads together and put some, at least we can get to the next meeting, some outlines. Yes.
Sort of feels a bit of
No, that's how we have to do it. It's not so to get it moving, this is the only way to get it moving.
2 months down.
Yeah.
The issue rates as far as
But this is the only way to move it further forward, so therefore.
If we don't do something about
And
the
then-
social media, it'll be another 2 months before we actually get to this point.
Anyway.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is that we do need to move it forward. So.
Yeah, I'm going to have to stop this recording and start it again. It's turned itself off. The owl has died on us. So